In the study of language and communication, the ideas of presupposition and implicature have revolutionized our understanding of how we convey meaning beyond the surface level of words. While these concepts were first introduced by J.L. Austin and Paul Grice in the 20th century, they have deep roots in the work of earlier thinkers, such as Aristotle and Immanuel Kant. Aristotle, in his work on rhetoric, recognized the role of assumptions in arguments and knowledge acquisition by developing the concept of enthymeme. An enthymeme is an argument in which one or more premises are left unstated, but understood by the audience based on their shared assumptions and beliefs. For example, a speaker might say, "I can't believe they let the cat out again," to convey frustration about a recurring problem, assuming that the listener shares the knowledge that the cat has escaped before. Aristotle's insight into the role of shared assumptions and beliefs in communication was a foundational contribution to the study of language. Immanuel Kant, an 18th century philosopher, took Aristotle's ideas further by discovering that certain beliefs or concepts are necessary presuppositions for rational thought and communication. For example, the concept of causation is a necessary presupposition for making sense of the world around us. Kant argued that these presuppositions are not the result of empirical observation, but are instead inherent in the structure of our minds. By identifying these necessary presuppositions, Kant laid the groundwork for future investigations into the role of assumptions in communication. Fast forward to the 20th century, when J.L. Austin introduced the idea of presupposition as it pertains to language use. Austin's work focused on speech acts, or the ways in which language is used in everyday communication. He believed that much of the meaning conveyed in a language is not found in the individual words themselves, but in the context and assumptions shared by the speaker and listener. Austin identified various types of presuppositions, such as lexical, structural, and pragmatic, that speakers make when communicating with others. For example, consider the sentence, "The bank was robbed yesterday." This sentence contains a lexical presupposition that the bank exists and a structural presupposition that something happened at the bank. Additionally, the sentence contains a pragmatic presupposition that the listener doesn't already know about the robbery. Austin's work on presupposition showed that speakers make many assumptions about what their listeners already know or believe, and that these assumptions play a crucial role in effective communication. However, Austin's work on presupposition was only part of the story. It wasn't until 1967 that Paul Grice introduced the idea of implicature, which refers to the hidden meanings and messages conveyed by a speaker beyond the literal words they use. In other words, it's the secret code that we use in our everyday conversations to convey more than what we say. Grice's work on implicature showed that language is much more complex than we previously thought, and that the meaning of words is often dependent on the context and assumptions of the speaker and listener. Grice proposed a set of conversational maxims, or rules, that speakers and listeners follow to ensure effective communication. These maxims include the maxim of relevance, which states that speakers should only say things that are relevant to the conversation, and the maxim of quantity, which states that speakers should say enough to convey their intended meaning, but not too much. Violations of these maxims can lead to implicatures, or hidden meanings that are conveyed beyond the literal words used. For example, consider the sentence, "I saw a dog in the park." On its face, this sentence is relatively straightforward and conveys a simple piece of information. However, depending on the context and the speaker's tone of voice, it could convey a range of different meanings. If the speaker said the sentence in a scared or alarmed tone, it might suggest that the dog was aggressive or threatening. If the speaker said the sentence in a happy or playful tone, it might suggest that the dog was friendly and cute. The ideas of presupposition and implicature have had a profound impact on our understanding of language and communication. By recognizing the role of shared assumptions and beliefs in communication, we can better understand how meaning is conveyed beyond the surface level of words. Aristotle and Immanuel Kant laid the groundwork for these concepts, and J.L. Austin and Paul Grice built on their work by exploring the complex ways in which language is used in everyday communication. As we continue to study language and communication, it's clear that the ideas of presupposition and implicature will continue to play an important role in our understanding of how we convey meaning to one another. By recognizing the complexity of language and the importance of context and shared assumptions, we can improve our communication and build stronger connections with those around us. So the next time you're having a conversation, remember to pay attention not just to the words being used, but also to the hidden meanings and assumptions that are being conveyed.